So Bevelyn Williams is an anti-abortion activist. That's her business. But according to federal prosecutors, she went way too far. According to them, she threatened and used force against patients and staff members at a reproductive health center located in Lower Manhattan. She purposely leaned against the door, crushing the victim's hand. And as the victim was yelling, "You're crushing my hand, you're crushing my hand," baby, she refused to move.
If anybody should have not been pardoned, it shouldn't have been her. This video is brought to you by Home Title Lock, brought to you by Home Title Lock. Did you know that American homeowners have over $32 trillion in home equity, and criminals are targeting it with a growing scam the FBI calls house stealing? Scammers can transfer your title out of your name using a one-page document that they file with the county. Then they can take out loans against it or even sell it behind your back. And the scariest part is you won't find out about it until collections or foreclosure notices are starting to arrive in your mailbox, leaving you in a financial and legal nightmare. The best way to protect your equity is with Home Title Lock's exclusive $1 million triple lock protection. This service offers 24/7 monitoring, urgent alerts, and if fraud should occur, their US-based restoration team will spend up to $1 million to fix the fraud and restore your title. So when was the last time that you checked on your title? If you're like most Americans, the answer is never. And that's exactly what scammers are counting on. That's why I've partnered with Home Title Lock to offer you all a chance to make sure that you're not already a victim. When you use promo code Tatum at HometitleLock.com, you'll get 30 days of free protection and a free title history report to lock in your peace of mind. And make sure you guys check out the $1 million triple lock protection details when you get there. Make sure you check out the link below. That's HometitleLock.com. Make sure you use my promo code Tatum. Let me talk about Bevelyn Beatty real quick, and I'm gonna move on. Some of y'all don't know who she is. She's being marketed as a person who was unjustly imprisoned while preaching the gospel at a healthcare facility. I'm telling you right now, it's not true. I have a clip that explains everything. We did a video about it. If anybody should have not been pardoned, it shouldn't have been her. So don't fall for it. That's all I'm saying. I think right now she probably got a GoFundMe out there that she did before that's got like $300,000 in it. Don't fall for it. This girl was hurting people at the facility. She almost broke some lady's hand. She's threatening people. She's on camera doing it. Do not fall for it. And we'll get the clip here in a minute.
Hey players, so have y'all seen this video on your FYP?
A federal facility, she has to surrender herself there, and this is due to the Harris-Biden administration.
So he says that his wife has to surrender to a federal prison because of the Harris-Biden administration. I was like, what in the haberdasheries and hemoglobin is going on here? So y'all know what I did, honey. I did some digging. Y'all grab your tea and have a seat. Let's talk about it. So Bevelyn Williams is an anti-abortion activist. That's her business. But according to federal prosecutors, she went way too far on June 19th and June 20th of 2020. According to them, she threatened and used force against patients and staff members at a reproductive health center located in Lower Manhattan. And she blocked patients and staff members from accessing that health center. She didn't just block them from doing this, honey. She was throwing her weight around, and she did it all on live stream. According to them, in one instance, she pressed her body against the door of the health center's patient entrance and refused to move, preventing a volunteer from entering the health center. As one of the health center staff members tried to open the door for the volunteer, she purposely leaned against the door, crushing the victim's hand. And as the victim was yelling, "You're crushing my hand, you're crushing my hand," baby, she refused to move. Now, like I told you, she was doing this all on live stream, so there was record of it from her very own live stream and also from the cameras that were located at the facility. Now, as she was live streaming, she was talking to her supporters, and she threatened to terrorize the place and warned that we're going to terrorize you so good your business is going to be over, mama. That's what she said directly to an administrative officer that was on the scene, and they were trying to keep the situation under control. She repeatedly and forcefully stopped patients from getting into this facility, so much so that they were forced to use the staff entrance. And wait, that's not the first time that she did that, honey. It's not the first or the second time. According to prosecutors, on multiple occasions from at least 2019 and 2022, Bevelyn and others intimidated and interfered with individuals seeking to obtain reproductive services, also the ones that were trying to provide it, in several different states, including Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, and Brooklyn, and New York. And she would do this all on live stream. And when they would try to get her to stop, she would yell out and say on the live stream, "I'd go to jail before I allow patients to enter the facility for an abortion." So Miss Bevelyn here was ultimately charged with freedom of access to clinic entrances, the FACE Act. And after being found guilty, she was sentenced to 41 months in prison and also a few years of supervised release. So let me get this straight. Bevelyn said on a live stream when she was committing these heinous acts that she was willing to go to the clink, okay, go to the prison and be taken away from her kids rather than allow people to do what they want to do with their own bodies. That's what Bevelyn said. And now that Bevelyn has been sentenced to 41 months in the clink for actions that she took, crushing a woman's hand, she's now started a gift send and go where she's seeking $300,000, and she's also trying to blame the Biden-Harris administration. Baby, you can't make this up if you tried. You made those decisions to block those people from doing what they want to do with their own bodies. And now you want to cry foul and want to blame somebody else for what you chose to do. I declare, honey, it's a disgrace. You should have sat your ass down and ate your food. That's what you should have done. Now you're going to be sitting in the clink eating food for 41 months. Thankfully, you got this money from the give, send, and go, so your husband can put some money on your books. I don't feel sorry for you, especially not getting on here trying to blame somebody else for your actions, especially actions that you didn't have to take. Shut up. This is Double D Mo for the Black Street News.
Donald Trump, many would argue, did an amazing thing today by pardoning 23 anti-abortion activists convicted under federal Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrance Act. It's called FACE Act.
Next, we have a set of pardons for peaceful pro-life protesters who were prosecuted by the Biden administration for exercising their First Amendment rights.
Do you know how many?
I believe it's 23, sir.
23 people were prosecuted. They should not have been prosecuted. Many of them are elderly people. They should not have been prosecuted. This is a great honor to sign this. They'll be very happy. So they're all in prison now.
Some are out of custody.
It's ridiculous.
The first person that he commuted a pardon was Bevelyn Beatty, who I disagree with 100%. Bevelyn should have never been pardoned. They should have left her in jail. Many people ain't gonna like me saying that because you've been tricked into the hot sauce. Now, we'll go through other activists. Another one was Lauren Handy, sentenced to nearly 5 years in prison for leading a blockade of a Washington, D.C. abortion clinic in October 2020. Additional individuals that pardon also include activists such as Jonathan Darnell, Jay Smith, John Henshaw, William Goodman, Joanne Bell, Paulette Harlow, Jean Marshall, Heather Adonai. It could be if he said different. Maybe Adoni is how he said. Y'all know I can't read. And then Herb Gonthery. Those individuals, which I don't know exactly what they did, were pardoned by Donald Trump. But I do know that nobody has the right to block a healthcare facility. I don't care what you feel about what's going on in there. Only way you have a way to block it is if your kid is involved and you're standing in the way and blocking your own child for going into a facility to do something that you think they ought not be doing. And Bevelyn was the worst. She had physical evidence of slamming somebody's hand in the door. If you read the indictment, she was threatening people. She went too far, and she did this in multiple states. It wasn't just she was at her hometown saying, I'm going to stand up for what's right. No, she did it in multiple states. She threatened the staff when they told her, please let the people come in this building. I'm going to burn this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And I'm going to shut this mother. She doing all kind of other stuff. I don't want Democrats doing it, so I'm not okay when conservatives do it. If a Democrat, while a woman is trying to go into a pro-life facility and a Democrat stands at the door and blocks a woman from going in, they've violated the FACE Act, right? The freedom of access to clinics. Even if it's a pro-life clinic, a Democrat or liberal blue-haired devil better not stand in the way of women getting access to the treatment that they want. Although we disagree with somebody going and unaliving the unborn, you do not have a right to play God and act like you're going to somehow thwart this woman for doing what she made a decision to do. The way that you participate in helping women make better decisions is offering them a solution. You should be praying for these women before they get there. You should pray for these women while they're there. You shouldn't be blocking access, because what you do is you look like a lunatic to people and they become afraid of you because you're radicalized. And let me tell you this, because I get passionate about this. Don't you take your behind to a Planned Parenthood if you don't plan to support the woman that you're trying to talk to. If a woman is going in to make a decision like that, which we all believe is the wrong decision, in my opinion, I think there's better decisions for you. I'm not finna go and tell you don't go in there if I can't help you with this baby. Some women are in predicaments and situations and they feel like they have no hope. Now, it's easy for you to sit there and say, you shouldn't do that. Well, then who gonna raise that baby? She in a domestic violence situation with a baby daddy, or a baby daddy don't want her. Her mom and them are shaming her. She can't go to church no more because they gonna shun her for having a baby out of wedlock. What do you want her to do? Oh, you telling her you shouldn't do that? Go do it on your own. Don't take your butt to no Planned Parenthood if you ain't got no solutions. The solution will be, if I'm willing to go to Planned Parenthood and tell you don't go in there to do that, I have to be able to give you a resource to say this is what you can do as an alternative. And I will help you see you through this process because I believe that there's a better way. I can't stand when people are holier than thou. I can't stand when Christians sit on the mall with a bullhorn and say everybody going to hell and trying to. Why do people think that's effective? People will know you by your fruits, not by you yelling and just reading scripture that you probably misquoted. Come on, man. The overhaul of Christianity as we know it should be at play. We need to get back to the biblical Christianity. I'm okay with Donald Trump pardoning people that have been overly charged when they're just exercising their right to have a voice and an opinion. I am not okay with somebody who are committing crimes against another person and saying because it's a cause that I believe in, I get to break the law. That's not how it works. I had made a video by Bevelyn Beatty before. My wife just didn't send me the clip, but there's somebody that articulated what I said in the video in like a minute clip. You can't break the law and think we're supposed to support you. Now, there's a time and a place that you've served your time and you should be pardoned. I think that that's appropriate, but not for Bevelyn. That's why I work with Save the Storage to raise money for the medical mobile clinic, because I don't need to go to Planned Parenthood and bash you and tell you going to hell. I can pull the medical mobile clinic up, and when women make that decision, I say, look, sweetheart, before you go in there, can you just come to the medical mobile clinic and talk to somebody? We'll give you it's a free ultrasound, free STD test, whatever you need. Just talk to somebody first before you make that decision. We can give you resources that you may not know are available to you before you go and make that decision at this, because it's irreversible. You can always choose adoption. You can always allow somebody to adopt your kids that's in your family. You can always make the decision to have your kid. Once you unalive the unborn, there's no going back. So we have a facility here, absolutely free to you. We pull that thing up right to the Planned Parenthood, pull it up to wherever women are in need. And that's what we do. We serve, and we do it with love and compassion, because at one point in time, you were that person. Once upon a time, you considered an abortion. Some of y'all have had an abortion. Some of y'all have encouraged one. Once upon a time, you were there. And I thank God that point in time that I was there, I made the right decision to advocate that my son be born, that two wrongs don't make a right. Just because you had a kid out of wedlock don't mean the kid had to cease to exist because of something you did. And I'm proud that I advocated, but there's others who haven't. There's others who were misinformed. There's others who believed they were doing the right thing in good faith. They thought it was smart to do that. They thought it was saving their careers, saving their reputation. Some people believe that. I get it. I understand it. I'm a human. However, we should be praying for people and we should be giving them other resources. And I'm going to say this too. First, judgment starts at the house of the Lord first. So before you go to Planned Parenthood, make sure you're preaching and teaching in your own church. Before you go out and yell at that girl's daughter, you need to be talking to your own kids. You need to be telling your own sons to keep his junk in his pants. Before you go out and be an activist to the world, before you go out and picket and have these signs up, make sure that you are an activist in your own house first. Make sure you're an activist in your own church first. Make sure you're an activist in your own community first, in your own city first, in your own state first. Because many times we step over our own people preaching to somebody else. We stepping over our own wounded to go heal somebody else. When the people right in your inner circle need healing, people in your inner circle need prayer. They need your attention. They need your support and love. They need a conversation from you. Sometimes somebody in your own house needs you. And we should be focused on that first instead of trying to save the world. You don't save the world by stepping over your own people to get out in the world. You save the world by starting with you. And if everybody start with them, the world will be a better place. But I just had to say that. Shout out to Donald Trump. I haven't researched everybody on here, but you ain't a martyr. You're not a hero. You're not doing God's will if you're hurting other people in the process. That's it. You could call people out. Jesus did it all the time. He called people out more than anybody. He got killed calling people out. He was calling them out so much they said, we got to kill this man. We can't have him keep calling us out like this. Blasphemy. And some of y'all won't even call nobody out.